Omarosa.
Wait.
What?
You said you was going to straighten me out. What the hell was that?
I said smooth you out.
Smooth me out? What does that mean?
We're going to talk and have a nice conversation.
Let's have a conversation.
Omarosa.
Oh, no, I know how to chill.
Okay.
But I will not be disrespected.
Okay. This is not the time for you to look for your moment. I invited you here.
Oh, I know how to find my moment. What is
I understand. We're going to talk about the book.
All right, well, let's get to it, Wendy. Oh, don't,
I want to look at it and show it to, well, then show it to Kenny right here. No, Kenny has the camera right here. This is the up-close camera. Would you like it to be seen? The book comes out in October. What did I just do? Nothing, right? Okay, listen. We're going to start this over. Please help me welcome my guest, Omarosa. The clip, which I was one of the reasons, you were the reason that I watched Celebrity Apprentice. And the reason being is that you are a person who incites interest, good, bad, or indifferent. Clearly, Trump sees something like that from you, which is why he invites you back over and over. I understand that there could possibly be a show that you all will be working on together, possibly.
But I did the Celebrity Apprentice because it was about charity. And I work with kids in Compton who don't have an opportunity to have a voice, to fight for themselves. They face crime, they face violence, and they don't have people to look up to. So I went on that show to tell people about Positive Vibrations, my charity in Compton, California.
Okay, well, that was it was entirely for charity. I enjoyed it. Your relationship with Pierce was quite fire. What was it about Pierce that rubbed you the wrong way?
You know, Pierce was the competition. The Celebrity Apprentice, as well as the first season, it's a competitive reality show. At the end, there's only one winner, and I wanted it to be me. So I had to get rid of the other contestants, and you do that by either outselling, outplaying, outwitting. And that's what I was doing with Pierce.
Is it that you have this persona that people associate with you? And we're going to talk about the book in just a moment. But Kenny is, by the way, if you would like people to actually see it,
hey, Kenny, how you doing?
You have to hold it to that camera.
Got it.
Okay. I'm sorry. Your persona. What size shoe do you wear?
9.5.
9.5. I wear size 11. Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah. Thank you. Your persona as being this bitch, as being difficult to work with, as being an ice queen, as being somebody that people don't like, as being like all of the above.
Got me nominated to be the #1 villain by TV Guide about a month ago. And I'll say this.
You definitely are.
If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And when I come back, I'm very confident you'll be picked up. I would love to see you at the top of your game, which would be winning an Emmy. I'd love to see that.
Yes. But Omarosa, while you and I probably have quite a bit in common regarding, some demanding ways, I always find that you show the honey, and it usually works out better, and I'm a little bit sweeter.
Are you?
Yes.
Because the interesting thing is, I've watched her career. I think it's fantastic to see an African-American woman in daytime television. We need more of that. I'm supportive of that. You didn't get here by being sweet. You got here by your ways on radio, by pushing the buttons, by having great interviews. But it's very interesting that you've kind of switched it up for the talk show. I'd love to see more of the edge.
I think that these people,
I'd love to see more of the edge.
Wendy.
I'm seeing a softer side, and maybe you're evolving. I like that. Maybe you're evolving.
No, this is the same Wendy.
I'm just giving my opinion, just my opinion. I see a little softer side. Maybe, they're backing you up for the show. Who knows? What do I know?
Let's talk about the book.
The book is called Hi, Kenny.
There you go.
It's called The Bitch Switch, and I really believe that every woman has a bitch switch.
Okay, so first of all, the book is not actually here because it will be out in October. And tell us what it's about.
We're pre-selling it on Amazon if you want to get your copy.
Good. Okay.
But it's about the fact that every woman there you go, plug-in, right? Every woman has a bitch switch. They have to learn how to turn it on and learn how to turn it off to get what they want.
Do you know how to turn yours off?
Absolutely.
You look very angelic.
You have on a wrap dress too, Wendy.
They're good for every woman. So first of all, I love that you're back on Celebrity Apprentice also. I love that.
I'm glad to be back.
Yes.
Glad to be back.
And
I was there from the beginning.
I
in
know.
the first season. We shot it in the fall of 2003. It's been a decade of The Apprentice. It's been 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Putting everything into perspective with that one. Wow. Hey, but your position on the show is no different than it was back in the fall of 2003. Everybody on the show is, again, scared of you, complaining about you, that you start so much trouble.
Well, it's interesting because Mr. Trump said it. It's good sometimes to have a bad reputation. I kind of just sit back and make them think I'm about to do something, and they get so distracted worrying about Omarosa that they don't focus on the task.
Yes. Well, you know, one of the things that I was talking with Mark McGrath, particularly, you know, he was on also, everybody, but we were both saying that, you know, the key to being on Celebrity Apprentice or Apprentice period is to have rich friends to call for money.
Absolutely.
But in thinking about your position on the show, no, you've never won, but yet you are the biggest star of the show. And do you have a pool of rich friends to call?
Well, listen, I am not going to ask my friends to pay $25,000 for a meatball. I'd rather them write a $25,000 check to the Sue Duncan Children's Center. Never, ever to my face because they're cowards.
But you're making a point. All right, so LaToya was here last week, and LaToya told, remember everybody, LaToya
We have a
said,
nickname for her.
what is it?
L-I-E, Toya, because, well, think about her past. Can we just think about her past? If you do that to your family, you'll do that to anyone.
Do what? Do what?
Lie,
What's she
Toya.
lie about? What's she lie about?
Let's get into the tea.
What's going on?
If my family member needed me and the whole world was accusing me of something awful.
Which family member? The dearly departed Michael?
Yes.
Okay, go.
And then the world says, Toya, do you think your brother did it? Wouldn't you say and stand by your brother? What did she do, world?
Refresh us.
She turned against him and said, yes, he did it. And then she held a press conference and sold a book. The sad thing is, Toya has a problem with the truth. And so when she was sitting here lying, she was not telling you the truth.
Here's what she said. I'll refresh your memory. Okay, so LaToya said that that Omarosa is using the death of her fiance, her dearly departed fiance, Michael Clark Duncan, to get ahead in the game. And I heard that you've now filed a defamation lawsuit against LaToya.
Well, that's not what the defamation is. You know, she went on a couple of shows, including yours, and she repeated some really awful things.
Yeah.
She made some accusations about me and my fiance. One, you don't talk about my man.
Okay.
He's deceased. Have some respect. It's despicable.
But
It's despicable.
But I know what comment specifically you're talking about, and it wasn't here on this show. It might have been like on Anderson Cooper or something, because I watch all the talk shows. She
repeated it.
Repeated.
Again and again.
You tell what it
so
was.
Even
I don't
if
wanna
my attorneys were sitting back and they're looking like, is she bright? No, she's not.
The thing about the plug. The thing about the plug.
Who says that? I mean, it's despicable. I won't repeat it because, one, I love my man.
Okay.
And everybody knows I fought to save him.
Yeah.
I fought that night when I lost him, and because of the things that I did, he was able to.
Can I repeat it
Please.
for the purpose? Okay. LaToya said that Omarosa probably pulled the plug, probably was the one that killed him.
She did.
And is that the reason for the defamation lawsuit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Don't attack my man. Don't attack my character.
Okay.
And have some respect for the deceased. I mean, this woman is insane, and
Okay.
she's going to have to be accountable for what she said.
Omarosa and the gang started filming Celebrity Apprentice only 5 weeks after Michael Clark Duncan passed away, number one. And then the other thing is that, you know, Omarosa, there's no accounting for, I guess, how people handle their own grief.
Well, you know, I lost my brother a year before I
ago. I'm
lost
sorry to hear
Michael.
about that also.
And I miss him. I love him. And he was just an incredible person.
Yeah.
But when he was killed, I stayed in the bed for 2.5 months. And that's how I grieved his loss. That's not the best way of dealing with grief, but that's the way I dealt with the loss of my brother.
Okay.
And I learned from that that staying still and staying in the bed is counterproductive to getting on with life after the death.
So you went
and
to...
so when it came to Michael's death, I had a decision of staying in the bed again, pulling the covers over my head, or facing the world head on, and that's what I did. And I decided to go back to work. It was a month after, and I'm so proud that I was fighting for his charity.
All right, but one more thing about that lawsuit. So we did some research, and you know, when you file the defamation lawsuit, the person who it's filed against, that would be LaToya, has 7 days to respond and apologize. It has to be a written. You can't tweet the apology or anything.
You can't tweet it.
A written apology from LaToya, or the lawsuit will go through. So today is the 7th day. So LaToya has until by the end of the business day.
Well, I got a letter from her attorney. She told another lie and said, "Oh, I've not seen anything from her attorney," but we got the letter, and she blamed everybody. She blamed the apprentice producers. She blamed her other castmates. She blamed the situation. She said she was stressed out, but she never ever apologized. And it was a letter from her attorney.
Okay, so
she is going to have to come out publicly, and she's going to have to retract those statements, or I'm going to go after her with the vengeance of all of Omarosa.
And we only have till the end of the business day today, correct?
Absolutely.
LaToya, just apologize. Just apologize. Look, everybody, up next, I want to hear details about, well, you have some new details you said you wanted to share with us about the death of Michael Clark Duncan, correct?
Things that I've learned particularly from that night.
Okay,
Wendy.
we'll talk
There's
about
some
that
important
next.
lessons.
And I would like to know whether he left anything for her in his will.
Oh.
Keep it here. LaToya, come on.
She'll learn to mess with Omarosa and my man.
Oh, since your fiance, Michael Clark Duncan.
Engagement when he was here.
Yeah, we talked about the engagement.
Yeah.
Can you please take us back to that night that he had the heart attack?
You know, Wendy, I replay that night over and over and over again in my head. But the biggest thing that I learned from that night is, can you just imagine if you wake up and the person that you love the most has stopped breathing?
So you guys...
Would you know what to do? Do you know CPR, by the way? I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
I forgot it. I learned it in Girl Scouts and I learned it swimming. But when I heard about what you did, it's certainly a reason to get a refresher course. But wait,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So
that
you guys
night-
were in bed.
We were in bed and he stopped breathing. And you have just seconds to act, or you stand still and you lose the person. But his heart stopped and he stopped breathing. Essentially, he was dying in front of me. And so it is imperative that everybody in this audience, everybody that's watching, you have to learn CPR. You have to learn first aid and know how to deal with a situation. And I think that that's the most important lesson that I've learned coming out of this, that if you love him, then you'll go and learn how to save him.
Yeah. Yes. That night, you did successfully revive him. You were able to call 911, and he subsequently ended up passing away a few days later.
No, 2 months later.
2 months later.
Yeah, he fought long and hard at Cedars, and I never left his side.
I was going to ask you, was he ever able to come home?
You know, we were preparing for him to come home,
Yeah.
actually, and he passed away. But for 2.5 months, I mean, I treasure every single one of those days with him.
Now, did he take care of you in his will?
You are all
there's
in
no,
the business.
you guys, there's no nice way of asking this, but
I can't believe
this
you're
comes,
asking this,
this comes
Wendy.
from a good place. But did he take care of you?
Let me just tell you that Michael was just the most incredible, generous soul. And probably the most shocking aspect of this is that he did want to make sure that I was cared for.
So the answer is
very
yes.
well.
If you don't ask the questions, you're not going to
but
get the answers.
it's not in good taste for me to talk about that, particularly since, you know, he has passed away. I would rather have him than anything.
Of course. Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for coming by.
Wait, before you go, I've got to shout out my church.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm assistant pastor at Weller Street Missionary Baptist Church. KW Toulis is the pastor, and they're watching.
Oh.
At home in Los Angeles.
How you doing, church? Celebrity Apprentice All-Stars airs Sunday night at 9 p.m. on NBC. Omarosa is still on. This
And
is
I'm
just
playing for Sue Duncan Children's Center.
there you go.
Michael Sheridan.
All right.